Hey guys. Well, they've been here over the last few weeks, month or so. During the winter here, there's been a lot of tarp building, tarp sealing, old school, new school stuff. Well, I guess there's a lot of new school stuff out there that works just fine. There's just something about old school. Uh, Now, there's been several weeks between this video and there's going to be several weeks between this video and the next one. Reason being, it takes time for the oil to dry. I just wanted to go ahead and get this out there, just to kind of give you guys a few more options for sealing or resealing. Now, you may remember this cotton shirt that I sealed. This is the linseed. In my flax video. Well, I just kind of made just a cover for my knife, and well, it's still nice and durable, still and it's not tacky whatsoever. I mentioned in the previous video. And of course, whenever I sealed my oilcloth, I didn't use that. I used store-bought linseed oil, and I think I even brushed a wax layer on it, and then heated it with a heat gun and sealed it in. And I've always used this part as the bottom, but you can see these bands of stuff here where like mold and mildew's got in there, and dirt's got compressed into it where it stayed sticky for so long. And still in the midsummer when you pull it out, it'll be kind of sticky when the wax and the stuff starts melting. But I'm pretty sure I brushed the wax on the top layer. I didn't make a video on it, so I can't go back and look at it. But I have been using this the past season, just about everywhere I went, and it's pretty well waterproof. Good ground tarp. So I had a little left of the flaxseed oil that I take, in the mornings and stuff, kind of help the old bones. And what I done is I took the leftover that was in here, put it in there as I described on the last flax video. You actually shake it up 2 or 3 times, and it's called refining. It separates. You try your best to draw it out. There ends up with a nice big fatty layer on the bottom, and you kind of separate it and shake it up again. Now the longer you let it set out in the sun vented with the lid just loose on top, it starts bleaching it out. So if you're not after that color, the longer you let it set out in the sun, it'll bleach. Now I'm just going to do something simple here today and go ahead and get another layer on this sheet, because I've only got one on it. And like I said, unfortunately it's going to take a couple weeks for it to dry or so, and we'll see what the next layer does for it. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this out. Now this would probably be easier if you had more, if you were separating more, because you'd have a thicker layer in there. So I'm going to try to draw this out without getting what's left of that little fatty layer on the bottom. Okay. Now the past video when I done this cotton shirt and left it hanging out here, it took some time. And I think Kenneth Cram commented that it was probably the ultraviolet rays, finally kicked in. But whenever you first seal a tarp with this stuff, you got to kind of rotate the tarp over and over and over, because the oil seems to run down to one side after 2 or 3 days. And then eventually it starts slowing down, and then it eventually dries. And it dries not tacky. This ain't chemicals, so I'm not concerned about wearing gloves. This don't have nothing in it but natural stuff. Now, the flax plant would have been farmed back in the day for its linen and for its, oil cloth. The flax oil just cold pressed can be consumed. Like I said, it's really good for you. It's got the 3 omegas in it, and good for the old bones, like I said, and probably a lot of other reasons. I'm going to put a good layer on here. Ooh, that's probably too much. Let's see. Let's try to get this seam really good. Wouldn't it be cool if here in a couple weeks I could fill this guy up with water? I'm going to really get it in that seam good. Now this ends up with that nice oilcloth smell, you know, that some of us guys like to smell. It's just part of good old camping, but it don't have that chemical smell. So if you've ever messed with linseed oil, you'll know. It's still not, probably not cool to hang this up in the house and dry, because it does have linseed oil smell, but it's just not the strong chemical smell. Okay, well, like I said, it goes on easy, and I'm going to hang this up out here in just a few minutes and see how it does. Alright guys, I just kind of wanted to go ahead and share this since there were so many tarp videos going on and sealing videos. I've seen the wax ones, and I did put wax on this, and it helped, but I'm not sure if the wax created a layer in my cloth for, you know, stuff to grow. Of course it is biodegradable, and you know, it don't cost very much to make one. So I guess when it fails or when it gets too yucky to use, then we'll make another. But so far I like my drop cloth, or my ground cloth rather, and I like my sheath I made. Remember, that's just out of a cotton t-shirt. And let's see how this next layer does. And of course I'll have some for a third layer, and hopefully this won't take weeks and weeks and weeks. But I'll do an update video on how this turns out here in the next couple weeks, or if it dries sooner. Alright guys, thanks.